Welcome everyone to another exciting update on the channel. If you're new here, I'm thrilled to have you join our growing community of curious minds and passionate supporters. For those of you who've been here since the beginning, you know who you are. Thank you for sticking around and making this space so vibrant. Today's video is packed with inspiring news straight from Burkina Faso, and I can't wait to share it with you. But before we dive in, let me take a moment to shout out our incredible channel members and subscribers. Your support fuels everything we do here. If you're not yet part of the crew, stick around until the end because I'll share how you can join our membership family or drop a super thanks to help us keep creating content that matters. Now let's get into it. Imagine a country taking bold steps to reclaim its economic independence, one thread at a time. That's exactly what's happening in Burkina Faso, where the government is doubling down on its vision to revitalize homegrown industries. Last week, Prime Minister Rimtalba Emmanuel Ouédraogo made headlines with his immersive visit to the Sahel Spinning Mill, better known as FILSAH, in Bobo-Dioulasso. This isn't just another factory tour, it's a symbol of national pride, innovation, and the kind of grassroots progress that deserves a global spotlight. So, grab your favorite drink, settle in, and let me walk you through why this story is a game changer. First off, let's talk about FILSAH itself. Established back in 1997, this cotton processing giant has been quietly shaping Burkina Faso's industrial landscape for over 2 decades. But here's the kicker. In just the last 5 years, FILSAH has contributed an average of 677 million CFA francs annually to the national treasury through taxes. That's not just a number. It's schools being built, hospitals being stocked, and infrastructure projects coming to life. And get this, after a major expansion between 2019 and 2020, the company now churns out a staggering 10,000 tons of yarn every year. For context, that's enough thread to wrap around the earth. Well, let's just say a lot of times. But what really caught the Prime Minister's attention during his visit wasn't just the machinery or the output, it was the human impact. Over 450 Burkina Faso citizens work at FILSAH, and thanks to recent government policies, more than 50 workers who'd been laid off due to technical unemployment, a fancy term for temporary job cuts, are now back on the payroll. That's 50 families with renewed stability, 50 stories of hope, and 50 reasons to cheer for local industry. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Burkina Faso, like many African nations, has faced its share of economic hurdles. Global market pressures, reliance on raw material exports, and the lingering shadows of colonialism. But what's happening here is different. The government isn't just paying lip service to industrialization, they're putting their money where their mouth is. During his visit, Prime Minister Ouédraogo emphasized that protecting FILSAH and similar companies from unfair foreign competition isn't optional, it's a survival strategy. We've implemented measures to safeguard our yarn market, he declared, and the results speak for themselves. This isn't about shutting out the world. It's about leveling the playing field so Burkina Faso talent can thrive. But here's where it gets personal for me, and maybe for you too. The Prime Minister didn't just talk about economics. He wove in the cultural heartbeat of Burkina Faso. Faso Danfani isn't just fabric, he said, referring to the iconic hand-woven cloth that's become a national symbol. It's the embodiment of our heritage. Every thread spun at FILSAH isn't just a product. It's a love letter to centuries-old traditions. From the Dogon weavers to the mossy dyers, Burkina's textile artistry is a living museum, and FILSAH's high-quality yarn ensures these crafts don't just survive, but evolve. Think about that. A factory preserving culture. How often do you hear that? Before I go deeper, let me pause and give a massive thank you to our channel members. Shout out specific usernames if possible. You're the backbone of this community. And to everyone watching, if you're enjoying this deep dive into African industrial progress, consider hitting that super thanks button below. It directly supports our work and helps us bring you more stories like this. Or better yet, Join our membership program for exclusive perks. Think behind-the-scenes content, early video access, and members-only live chats. Every contribution, big or small, keeps this channel rolling. Now back to Burkina. What fascinates me most about FILSAH's story is its ripple effect. When a factory like this thrives, it doesn't just create jobs, it sparks innovation. Farmers growing cotton see steadier demand. Logistics companies hauling goods expand their fleets. Artisans using FILSAH's yarn experiment with bold new designs. Even the local cafe near the factory sees more customers grabbing lunch. This is what endogenous development looks like. Growth that starts from within rather than being imposed from the outside. And PM Ouédraogo nailed it when he said, "The future of sustainable sovereign development lies in our industries." But let's keep it real. None of this is easy. Burkina Faso still grapples with energy costs, global cotton price swings, and the ever-present threat of cheap imports flooding the market. That's why the government's commitment to FILSAH matters. They're not just handing out tax breaks, they're building an ecosystem. Think vocational training for textile workers, incentives for eco-friendly production, and partnerships with local designers to create global-ready products. It's a holistic approach, one that recognizes industry and culture as two sides of the same coin. Now imagine if more countries took this approach. Imagine a world where Made in Burkina Faso carries the same prestige as Made in Italy for fashion or Made in Japan for tech. That's the dream FILSAH is chasing. And guess what? They're already doing it. Walk into a market in Ouédraogo, and you'll see vibrant Faso Danfani outfits turning heads. But the real win? Seeing Burkinabe designers like Patriotic and Ouédraogo take FILSAH's yarn and create pieces that grace runways from Paris to New York. That's the power of local industry meeting global ambition. Speaking of global, shout out to our international subscribers tuning in from list a few countries based on your analytics. Your curiosity about stories like this is what makes our community so special. Whether you're in Lagos, London, or Los Angeles, you're part of a movement that values diverse narratives. And to our Burkinabe viewers, Nase Soma. Your country's resilience is inspiring the world. Let's circle back to the Prime Minister's visit. After touring the factory floors, he didn't just give a bland speech, he got passionate. "We're determined to prioritize industrialization and local processing," he said, adding that this isn't just policy, it's a patriotic duty. Strong words, but they make sense when you consider Burkina Faso's history. For decades, the country exported raw cotton only to import finished textiles at higher prices. FILSAH flips that script by adding value right at home. More profits stay local, more skills are nurtured, more pride is built. Here's a fun fact. FILSAH's 2.1 billion CFA franc capital isn't just from big investors. Ordinary Burkinabe citizens own shares too, thanks to public offerings. That means when FILSAH wins, everyday people win. It's community capitalism in action, a model more nations should explore. Now let's talk about you. Yes, you, the person watching this. Stories like FILSAH's don't go viral by accident. They need platforms like ours to amplify them. That's where your support comes in. When you join our membership, you're not just getting cool badges, you're funding journalism that challenges stereotypes about Africa. When you hit Super Thanks, you're saying, yes, I want more stories of innovation, not just crisis. And when you share this video, you're spreading knowledge that can literally change perceptions. I'll wrap this up with a personal note. Years ago, I visited Bobo-Dioulasso and met a FILSAH worker named Aminata. She told me, "This job let me send my kids to school and start a small farm." That's the human magic behind the numbers. Every spindle at FILSAH spins more than thread. It spins dreams. So, what's next for Burkina Faso's industrial push? More factories? Maybe. More policies? Definitely. But what's certain is that channels like ours will keep you updated every step of the way, if you help us keep the lights on. Click Join below the video to become a member or tap Super Thanks to make a one-time contribution. Let's grow this community together while celebrating global stories of hope. Thank you, as always, for watching. Smash that like button if you learned something new, subscribe for more deep dives, and drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts on Burkina Faso's industrial journey. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep supporting voices that matter.